Chosen one, stop everything, truly stop, not as a figure of speech, not metaphorically. I mean genuinely set aside what you are doing alongside this, even for just these next few minutes, because what I am about to say requires your full presence to reach you the way it was meant to reach you. God locked this message. He sealed it. He held it back from being received until the exact second it found you. I need you to sit with that clearly, because it changes everything about why you are here right now. You did not arrive here through random browsing. You did not land in this space by accident or habit, or a bored afternoon. Something has been watching the seasons of your life, watching the preparation, watching every long stretch where you kept going, when every reason to stop was present. And it determined that this second, not yesterday, not last week, not the version of you from 6 months ago, but this exact second, is when the word that was locked away for you could finally be released. I have been carrying this message with a weight I could not fully explain until now. Something kept pressing on me. There is someone who needs this. Someone shaped by things they cannot yet fully interpret. Someone standing at the edge of a season that is about to break wide open. Someone so close to the moment when the locked thing finally gives way. Chosen one, that is you. I do not say that loosely. The fact that you are still here, still receiving these words, tells your spirit what mine already knows. The lock has been opened. The moment is now. And nothing from this point forward is going to be ordinary. I hear the spirit saying this, and I want to carry it directly to you. I did not bring you through what you have been through to abandon you here. I locked this word. I held it. And I am releasing it now, because you are finally ready to carry the weight of what it contains. Before we go any further, I need you to do something real. Not pause the video. Stop everything else alongside it. If you are looking at another screen, set it aside. If there are people around you who are not part of this conversation, understand that what is about to be spoken is not for general ears right now. This is a private word, something placed specifically in your hands. Take a breath right now, slow in and slow out. Let your body settle into wherever it is. God does not send prophetic words into scattered, divided spaces. They land when the person receiving them is present. You are present, and because of that, this can begin. I want to ask you to stay with every word of what comes next, all the way to the end. By the time this message is finished, you are going to have 5 signs shown to you that are already present in your own life right now. 5 specific things confirming that this is your appointed moment and not any moment before it. I am going to walk you through why the lock that has felt like abandonment was actually something completely different. I am going to show you what was sealed inside it. And at the very end of this message, I am going to speak a declaration over your life that I believe you will carry with you long after this space closes. Every word that comes next is worth staying for. Everything I am about to share with you is freely given, with nothing held back. But if at any point your spirit tells you there is something more you need beyond what is spoken here, the description and the pinned comment below already hold what that is. Only when you feel led, not before. Before we begin, if something in you already recognizes that this message belongs to you right now, type "I am ready" in the comments. Let that be your first declaration in this space. Now, before I can show you what God locked for you, I need to first show you something that is already happening in your own life, because the evidence of this appointed moment is already there. Let me show you what you have been walking through. There are things happening in your body, your mind, and your spiritual life right now that most people around you do not have the language to explain, not because they are unknowable, because the people in your world have never been tuned to recognize them. I want to give you that language today. I want you to hear 5 specific things and recognize yourself in them. The first is what has been happening to your sleep. Not the general tiredness of a busy life, but something more specific than that. You find yourself waking at the same hour, sometimes well before the morning begins, and your body is alert in a way that makes no sense for how quiet the room is. Nothing disturbed you, but you are already awake, already processing something you have not been told the name of yet. Some nights the dreams have been different, more vivid, more present, leaving you with feelings that stay through the morning and sometimes well into the afternoon. Your body is knowing something your mind has not yet been given language for. The second thing is the way old environments feel now. The conversations that used to feel normal have started to drain you in a way you did not expect. The places, the habits, the routines that used to fit just fine do not fit the same way anymore. You have quietly pulled back from certain things without fully understanding why, and part of you has wondered if something is wrong with you, if you are becoming difficult, if the distance you are creating is a problem you should be solving. It is not. You are not becoming difficult. You are becoming discerning. There is a significant difference between those two things, and the difference matters deeply right now. The third sign is a restlessness in you that is not anxiety and is not dissatisfaction, but something that wants to build, create, begin, something you cannot yet picture clearly. You feel pulled toward something, and the shape of it has not fully revealed itself. That restlessness is not a distraction. It is a calling looking for a container. The form is not visible yet because the form belongs to the season that is opening, not the one that is closing. The fourth sign is the timing of things. Specific people appearing at moments when nothing else could have placed them there. A word arriving from an unexpected source on exactly the day you needed it. A conversation you almost did not have, landing with the exact piece you had been quietly turning over for weeks. You have noticed these moments. You have caught yourself thinking they are too precise to be accidental. You are right. Not one of them was random. Every single one was placement. Every one was a coordinate pointing you forward. And the fifth sign is this. You have been knowing things before they are confirmed. A quiet, internal certainty about something that had no visible evidence yet. A flash of recognition before the moment fully arrived. A sense of outcome before the facts were in. That clarity was not as strong in you 5 years ago. You have been tuned. Something has been calibrating your ability to receive, and the signal has been growing clearer, even in the middle of the most uncertain seasons of your life. What felt like delay was actually divine positioning. What felt like being passed over was actually being protected from the wrong timing. What felt like missing the window was actually being held for the right one. The waiting that looked like nothing happening was, from a higher vantage point, the most active season of your entire preparation. Most people talk about timing as if there is only one kind: the clock, the calendar, the deadline. But in ancient Greek, the language of the New Testament, there are two entirely different words for time. One is chronos, the steady march of minutes and days, one moment following the next without pause or meaning. But there is another word entirely: kairos. Kairos is the appointed moment, the fullness of time, the specific second when everything that was held back converges in one place, and something that could not have happened before suddenly becomes not just possible but inevitable. Kairos does not happen on a schedule you can predict. It happens when the conditions are exactly right, when the person is exactly ready. Think of a harvest, not a date marked on a calendar. The actual morning when the specific combination of depth and readiness and warmth come together in a way that makes that morning different from every morning before it. You are in a kairos moment, not because you scheduled it, because everything, including what you walked through to get here, has finally created the conditions. There is a woman in ancient wisdom literature whose story belongs alongside yours for a moment. Her name was Esther. She did not choose the palace, or the position, or the timing. She was hidden, positioned, prepared in a life that looked from the outside like it was not yet the life she was meant for. Everything was moving into place around her while she waited in a season that gave no visible sign of what was coming. And then came the words, "For such a time as this." Not urgency for its own sake. Precision. The lock of that season had been waiting for the specific person in the specific position at the specific moment. When it arrived, Esther was not chosen because she was the least afraid or the most polished. She was chosen because she had been held intact through everything that came before. The lock kept her for exactly this. The waiting you have been in was not wasted. It was positioning. It was placement. You were not forgotten. You were being held for an appointment that the season around you was still being built to receive. But here is what I have not told you yet, and this is the part that changes how you see every moment of delay you have walked through. There is a reason God locked this, and it was not what you have been fearing it was. When something is locked, the natural assumption is that the lock exists to keep you out. That is how we experience locked things in human life. A closed door means access denied. But in the economy of the divine, a lock means something entirely different. The lock did not exist to keep you out. It existed to keep you intact for what was inside. Let me show you 3 reasons why the lock had to stay in place for as long as it did. The first is this: the word you are receiving today, the assignment, the confirmation, the clarity. You would not have been able to carry it at the version of yourself that existed 18 months ago. You would have moved on it from a wounded place, acted before the wound was sealed enough to sustain the weight of what the word requires. God does not unlock things before the person is ready to bear what is inside. That is not cruelty. That is the precision of a father who fully understands what the vessel can hold. The second reason is that your character was still being formed. The patience pressed into you in this waiting, the discernment that has grown quieter and more reliable, the faith stripped of its performance layer and pressed down into something real and unshakable. That was not a side effect of the delay. It was the point. The character required for the next season cannot be hurried. It grows at exactly the pace it needs to grow, and it takes exactly as long as it takes. The third reason is this: some of the relationships, the aligned people, the open doors that belong to the next chapter of your life were not yet where they needed to be when you first started asking. Divine timing does not move only one person at a time. It moves entire landscapes into position at once. The people who will carry what you carry, who will understand your language, who will be part of what you are building, they were also being prepared. Everything had to be ready. Not just you. There is someone whose story holds this clearly. David was anointed king years before he ever wore the crown. He received the word about who he was and what was coming for him long before the season for it arrived. And between the anointing and the throne, there were shepherd fields, hidden years of small battles that seemed to have nothing to do with his calling, seasons of waiting in caves while the one who was supposed to be gone still occupied the space that was meant for David. He did not know exactly when. He only stayed faithful to what was directly in front of him, and when the fullness of time converged on his specific moment, he was ready, not because he had forced the door, not because he had been impatient, but because he had been formed, fully and quietly, in every single hidden year, into the man the throne required. What if the years that have frustrated you the most were the exact years that were making you qualified for what is about to open? I want to speak to something that has been sitting heavy in you in this waiting season, because the lock did not only create questions, it created doubt. And I want to name that doubt directly. The lock has made you wonder if God forgot you, if the promise was real, if you misheard, if you were fooling yourself about who you are and what you are here to do. Some nights, the doubt has been louder than the faith, and you stayed anyway. You kept showing up. You kept coming back. You kept the posture of someone who had not given up, even when giving up would have been the easier thing to do. That doubt is not weakness. It is the natural response to a locked season that looks, from the inside, exactly like abandonment. But here is what I need you to know. The lock that looked like silence was the same lock that looked like protection. One door stayed closed, so another door would not be missed. What you interpreted as God being absent was, from above, God being precise. You are allowed to not understand the timeline. You are allowed to have been tired of waiting. You are allowed to have grieved the season that felt like it would never end. And still, the lock was never your punishment. It was never your sentence. It was your preparation. Now, how do you tell the difference between a divine holding and simple human stagnation? Because not every closed door is prophetic. Some are simply closed, and moving forward is the right answer. So how do you know? Hold 3 things against your own experience right now. The first is a peace that does not make logical sense. Underneath the frustration, is there still a calm? An underlying knowing that something is intact even while the surface is uncertain. Divine holding carries that. Stagnation feels only hollow. The second is growth inside the waiting. Are you still being formed, still developing in depth, in discernment, in the quality of your character, even while the outer situation has not visibly changed? Divine holding always produces something real in the person, even when nothing around them is changing. The third is the return of the prompting. Does the original sense of what you are called to keep coming back, even after you tried to reason yourself out of it? Things you imagined do not persist that way. Things you were assigned do. They return, and they will not let you go no matter how many times you tried to set them down. If those 3 things are present in your experience, you are not stagnant, you are held. And held is not the same as forgotten. If this space has been a place where these words find you at the right moments, stay connected. More is being prepared for the season you are entering. Take a breath. The hardest part of the waiting is almost behind you, because what I am about to show you in part 2 is the piece that reframes everything. There is something inside the lock that I have not yet told you about, and when I show you what it is, the entire journey you have walked through is going to make a different kind of sense. Before we get there is something brief I want to mention. What we have been discussing, the lock, the preparation, the precision of this appointed moment, it connects directly to something that happens inside the brain itself. A neuroscientist named Dr. Robert Lake, who spent 34 years documenting what happens to human cognitive function under specific conditions, identified an audio tool called the Genius Song, designed specifically to reactivate something the modern world has been quietly suppressing since childhood. 7 minutes of listening, nothing else required. The brain begins moving back toward the frequency it was built to operate at. I will share the full picture of this in part 2, because the connection between what I am about to reveal and this tool is something I want you to understand in full context before you encounter the complete picture. For now, if something about that sparked a response in you, the link is already waiting in the description below. But part 2 holds 3 more revelations, and the last one is the one I believe you came here for. Welcome back, chosen one. In part 1, I showed you the 5 signs that you are in an appointed moment. I showed you why the lock had to exist, why the waiting was not abandonment, why the delay was the design. Now I need to show you what was inside it, because I have been circling around the deepest layer this whole time. And the deepest layer is this. What was held inside the lock was not just a message of comfort, not just a relief that the season is ending. It was an assignment, and the assignment was always yours. Let me show you the pattern. Esther was locked in palace obscurity before her purpose was ever made visible to the world. David was locked in shepherd fields before the throne opened to him. Mary received a word that required everything from her before a single person around her could understand what it meant. Every single person in the ancient record who carried something significant for others had a lock, without exception, because what was being prepared inside them was not only for them, it was for everyone who would come after. This is not coincidence. This is the pattern, and you are inside it. The lock existed because what was growing in you during the years you could not move forward would eventually serve more than your own life. The breakthrough you have been waiting for was not only going to change your situation, it was going to create a path for the people who will come after you. The clarity you are about to carry is not only for yourself. The unlocked version of you is going to serve others in ways the locked version never could have. When an assignment becomes visible after a long waiting season, the first instinct is almost always to rush, to make up for time, to move in every direction at once. And that instinct, as understandable as it is the fastest way to lose what was just given to you. There are 3 acts of receiving that protect what is being unlocked right now. The first is acknowledgement. Before any movement at all, simply receive it. Let something in you say, even if only inwardly and quietly, I receive this. The second is stillness. Sit with what you have received for at least a full day before making any outward movement, not because the timing is wrong, because receiving requires a stillness that action interrupts. And the third is the first step only, not the full plan, not the launch, just the single next step that is visible right now. One obedient movement forward. Then wait for the next one to clarify. Rushing an assignment before you have fully received, it is the most common way chosen ones lose what was given to them. I want to spend a moment with a word. Most people hear the word revelation and think information, something hidden that is now being disclosed. But the original Greek word is apocalypsis, and apocalypsis is something far more specific than information being given. It comes from 2 roots, apo, meaning away from, and calypto, meaning to cover, to hide, to place a veil over something. An apocalypsis is not a disclosure. It is the lifting of a veil that was intentionally placed over something that was always true, and always present, and always real. The veil was always temporary. What was beneath it was permanent. God did not create what I am speaking over your life today. He uncovered it. It was always there, always yours. The veil was always going to lift. The apocalypsis happens when the person and the moment are exactly right. What is being uncovered for you right now has always belonged to you. You are not receiving something new. You are finally seeing what was always real, made visible for the first time in this season. If this is landing for you right now, press like. Let that be your agreement with what is being spoken. Before this message ends, and we are almost there, I am going to speak a declaration over your life that I believe you will carry long after this space closes. Stay with every word that remains. I have been building toward this entire time, and this is the piece that changes everything. God did not just lock a video for you. God locked you. Let me say that clearly, because I need you to receive what that means. The message that was sealed was not the primary thing being held. You were. Your gifts, your sight, your capacity to carry what others cannot, all of it was sealed in a season of preparation, held back from being accessed before it was safe, protected from being released before the world was ready for what you carry. You were locked so you could not be mishandled before your time. You were sealed so that the wrong voices and the wrong seasons could not reach what was being formed. You were held in reserve so that when you were finally released, what came with you would be whole. You were kept not because you were overlooked. You were kept because you were too important to release before you were complete. The signs you recognized in part 1 were not just evidence of a kairos moment. They were the signs of you approaching the moment of readiness. The lock we examined together was not placed on a message. It was placed on you, on the assignment being formed inside you, on the sight and the voice and the capacity that were growing in the hidden years. And the assignment I showed you was always inside the lock. It was always in you. The lock was the protection around it. And I hear the Father saying, I have been preparing you for a moment you could not see coming. The lock was never punishment. The lock was protection. I could not let you move before the world was ready for what you carry. You have been faithful in what you could not see. And now I am opening what was sealed for you. Walk into it. You are ready. Let me name what was locked. Let me name what you are carrying into this unlocked season. You carry the ability to see what others miss. Patterns, warnings, potential, in places where others see only confusion. That sight has been refined and deepened. In every year no one was watching. You go first. You have always gone first. Not because you had a roadmap, not because it was comfortable, but because someone had to make a path so others could follow. That is not a burden. That is a commission. You speak what others feel but cannot say. The words that will come from you in this new season will find people who had no language for what they were carrying, and you will give it to them. That is one of the most significant things a person can do for another human being. Let me tell you about someone. No name, no identifying details, but the pattern is real. For 11 months, they were in what felt like complete stillness. No visible forward movement. Career halted. Relationships shifting in ways they had not chosen. Every door they pushed, closed. They stopped pushing. They practiced what I described earlier. Acknowledgement, stillness, one step only. 40 days of deliberate, intentional receiving. On day 37, without searching, without pushing, a door they had never known existed, opened from the inside. Not the door they had been fighting for, the right door. The assignment that had always belonged to them was behind it. It had been waiting for the version of them that was formed in 11 months of faithful stillness. She proved herself faithful in the locked season before she was commissioned in the open one. You are made for what comes next. Before I share the tool that connects every layer of what we have discussed today, and I will share it now because this is exactly the moment it was always meant to arrive in, there is one thing I want to give you first. A plain and clear picture of what happened in this message, so you carry it with you fully. You came into this space carrying a question, something like, why has it taken this long? Why does the promise feel locked? Why does everyone else seem to be moving while I am standing still? The answer I walked you through is this. The waiting was never accidental. The lock was never abandonment. You were being prepared for something that required the exact version of you that now exists. In part 1, I showed you 5 signs, confirming you are in a kairos moment, an appointed second, chosen by the convergence of everything you have been prepared through. I showed you 3 reasons the lock had to exist. The weight of what was inside required the person you have become. The character for the next season was still being grown, and the landscape around you was still being set into position. In part 2, I showed you that the same pattern exists across history in every person who carried something significant for others. And then I showed you the deepest thing. The lock was not placed on a message. It was placed on you. You were the sealed thing. You were what was being held in reserve. What is being uncovered now was always yours. That is what you received today. Hold it. And now, here is what connects every layer of what we have discussed. Studies that have spent decades documenting the human brain under specific conditions have confirmed something most people were never taught. The brainwave frequency associated with heightened clarity, accelerated pattern recognition, and what the ancients called divine flow is measurable and traceable. Researchers at MIT and Princeton, among others, have documented what happens to this specific frequency across a human lifespan. In children, it is abundant, active in a way that makes learning fast, intuition sharp, and creative perception feel effortless. But beginning around the age of 7, as the pressures of survival and structured systems take hold, that frequency enters a documented, steady decline. The scientists who have mapped this across decades of research have called it exactly that, the decline effect. By adulthood, most people are operating almost entirely in frequencies built for stress management, not for the expanded capacity they were born with. The brain is still functioning, but it is functioning at a fraction of what it was designed for. Here is why this matters to you specifically. The very frequency the world suppressed in you was never destroyed. It was locked. The same pattern that has run through this entire message, the divine holding, The preparation, the seal that was always temporary, applies inside the architecture of your own mind. And, like every lock, it can be opened. A woman who works as a teacher wrote to me some months ago. She had been living with a mental fog she could not shake for nearly 3 years. Not depression, something more like a thickness in her thinking, a slowness in the clarity she once had. She had tried what people recommend. Nothing reached it. She started using a specific audio tool for 7 minutes each morning for 21 days. By day 12, she sent me a message. Something she had been unable to articulate for 3 years came into complete focus in a single afternoon, not gradually, all at once. Like a lens that had been slightly off finally finding its exact adjustment. She did not know how to explain it. I did. The tool is called the Genius Song. It was developed by Dr. Robert Lake, a neuroscientist who spent 34 years of his career specifically on the question of how to reverse the decline effect in the adult brain. What he created is a 7-minute audio track built using brain entrainment technology, designed to guide the brain back into the gamma frequency, the frequency of clarity, intuition, and the expanded perception you were born with. You put on headphones, you sit where you are, you listen, nothing else is required. I know what might be coming to mind. You have tried meditation, prayer, practices that promise something similar. Here is the difference. Those practices work on calming the mental surface. The Genius Song works on the underlying frequency itself. It is not competing with what you already do. It is unlocking what is beneath it. And I know that in a season where resources are not unlimited, $39 is a real consideration. Most people searching for this kind of clarity are spending $15 a month on apps that never touch the gamma frequency, $150 or more on a single therapy session, several $100s on a retreat weekend. Some spend around $300 per biofeedback session at professional clinics. None of those are wrong choices, but not one of them was built to specifically target this frequency. The Genius Song was one payment, no subscription. Dr. Robert Lake brought the original $49 price to $39, specifically for those who arrive through this message, not as a promotion, but as a deliberate decision to reach the people who need this most. And it comes with 4 tools at no additional cost. An audio track calibrated specifically for children worth $19. The original book that inspired The Secret, worth $20. A 2-minute guided visualization across 4 areas of life, worth $29. And a practical daily habits infographic, worth $12. That is $80 in additional resources, included with a $39 purchase. And the guarantee is this: if after 90 days it has not served you, every dollar comes back. No conditions, no questions, and all 4 bonus tools remain yours regardless. Dr. Robert Lake frames it as his acknowledgement of the time you gave it. Over 18,366 people have used the Genius Song. The return rate sits under 4%. Those 2 numbers together say more than anything else I could add. Before you search anywhere else, one important thing. There are frequency audio files that use the correct terminology, but not the correct technology. The precision that Dr. Lake spent 34 years developing is not something that is replicated in a general search result. The authentic version is available only through the link in the description and the pinned comment below. Protect what you are investing in. This specific access at this price exists because of how you arrived here. It will not always be available in this form. If something in you is confirming what I have shared, move on that confirmation now. The people who wait to see if the response returns often find the conditions have shifted. The people who move when the Spirit confirms it find the door exactly as it was described. The Genius Song. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. Only if your spirit confirms it, not before. For those of you entering a season where the right relationships are also beginning to arrive, where connections are reorganizing in ways you did not initiate, there is more being prepared on that specific dimension. But that conversation is for another day. Let me pause here for just a moment. You have been in this space for a while now. Before the close of this message, take one breath. Nothing to receive in that breath. Nothing to do with it. Just slow in and slow out. Let your body process what it has taken in. That is the space for it. You came into this space carrying the weight of a locked season. You are leaving with something different. A confirmation that the waiting was never wasted. An understanding that what felt like silence was precision. And a clear picture of what was always inside the lock. The assignment was always real. The gifts were always present. And the version of you that exists right now is the version that was always being built for what comes next. Before we close, I want to do one more thing with you. In your mind right now, I want you to place yourself in front of a door. It has always been there. You have stood in front of it before, many times, across many different seasons. You have pressed your hand to it, searched for a way through, and walked away uncertain. Now, in your mind only, reach out and place your hand on the handle. Feel the weight of it, and slowly turn it. Feel what happens when the resistance releases. Feel the door open on its own weight. That sensation. That specific internal shift. That is what an unlocked season feels like when it arrives in the body. That is where you are standing right now. Carry that sensation with you when you leave this space. If you feel that shift happening right now, type "I am unlocked" in the comments below. Let the declaration be witnessed. You are not in this alone. Right now, all across the world, chosen ones are receiving this same word at this same season of their lives. The unlock is happening in more than one place at once. You are part of something larger than your own story. I want to acknowledge something before we close. What happened in this space today was not ordinary. You came. You stayed through every word. You received what was here for you. That is not small. That is the posture of someone who deserves what was locked for them. Every season you have carried faithfully has been seen. Every night you went to sleep uncertain and woke up and stayed anyway. Every quiet act of continued trust when the lock showed no sign of opening. Every time you chose to hold on when letting go would have been easier. It was all seen. Every single moment of it was held. Now I want you to release something. Picture the heaviness of the waiting season clearly for one moment. The weight of the delay, the weight of the unanswered questions, the weight of the locked season you have been carrying in your body and in your spirit. Picture it resting on your shoulders, the exact shape of it, the exact familiar weight you have learned to carry. And now, let it fall. Not because all the work is done, not because every question has been answered, but because the season of carrying that weight alone is over. The lock has opened. You do not walk out of this space carrying what you walked in with. And I hear the Father saying this final thing to you as we close. Go. You have been given what you came here for. And where you go from this second forward, you do not go as someone still waiting to be unlocked. You go as someone who has been released. Carry it well. You are released. You are revealed. You are ready. And so it is. If you received this word today, type "It is done" in the comments. Let that be your seal. If this message moved something in you, press like. Let that be your agreement. If someone came to mind while you were listening, someone who has been unusually quiet lately, someone in a long waiting season they cannot explain to anyone, someone who has been faithful in something they cannot see the end of, send this to them. You do not need to explain it. Just send it. Your share might be the exact confirmation they have been praying for. For those who felt drawn to what I shared about the frequency God placed inside you, the information is in the description and the pinned comment below. only when your spirit confirms it. If this space has been a source of strength for your season, stay connected. There is more being prepared for the chapter you are entering.